Testing, 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 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. Hello.
Welcome to another Road Warrior Real Talk. I'm Sean.
I'm Caro.
And today, it's a very special day. I know a lot of people have been requesting this video since we moved into an RV. They want to know what we hate.
Dislike.
Whatever. No sense in arguing with this one.
Guess I won.
What we dislike
Yes.
about our RV.
Yes.
I think we feel very fortunate because for our first RV, we really enjoy it. We really love it. And we got lucky because we know people have been through many RVs in a short period of time. So I feel like we got lucky. Not lucky, but we did our homework. We did our research. And it is what we expected it to be.
Yep.
But there is no perfect rig.
Nope.
And so we're going to talk to you about the things we dislike and or would like to change. Caro, coming into this video, said that she only disliked one thing. And I said, you're crazy. There's no way that you only dislike one thing. And she's like, yeah, no, just one thing. She kept on saying. So I put a list together and she started reading and she's like, oh yeah, those are good points, right?
Those are good points, but I don't hate those things.
You dislike them.
Yeah, sometimes. Depends on the mood.
So we both dislike many things, and some of the things we can fix, some we can't. So let's get started. So we'll start with Caro's one dislike. Why don't you tell everybody?
The one thing I truly don't like is the AC drip. Which is by the front cab, and every time I step out to walk the dogs in the morning, I get rained on, and that is not cool. So that's my only thing. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I wish it was located in a different spot, maybe on the other side, not so close to the entrance. So that's my one thing that I just don't like.
The AC drips from a gutter. And we actually have gutters at all four corners of our rig, but it always is, even though we've leveled this thing a couple of times, reset the leveling, it always drips in the right front. So all the water from the ACs accumulates and goes to the right front. And in the summertime here, which today's, what, the first day of summer or yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was, yeah.
So we have, 2 ACs, sometimes 3 ACs running, and it is insane the amount of water. I mean, I can't believe it. So that is a pain in the butt, and it also attracts bugs and mosquitoes, flies, things like that. Next thing on the list for me, which is a little bit of a bummer, is that you can't access anything really with the slides in. So if we make a stopover at a truck stop, I mean, we really can't access anything except for this little area right here, the living room area, with the slides in. And we really can't do much in here because we store things in this area on the ground when we travel. We have our paddle boards and plants and just things that we want to not, roll around. We put them in this area. This is what our rig looks like when we're traveling. So the slides are out now, but when they come in, there's no space. So the doggy slept here. So we have to open the slides to access the kitchen, the garage, the bedroom, anything. So, ideally, I would have a rig that I could access my bedroom and the kitchen, with the slides in. At least be able to walk around. You have to jump over things to get into the kitchen, and you can't get to the bedroom unless you open the slide. So that's a bummer. So the next thing is mattress. You saw a previous video. We had to get rid of that. Has
let me take this out
a
so
very
you can
large indent. Look at this. That is where I sleep, and there's like a 3-4 inch depression. And thankfully our friends at Bedding Barn really hooked us up with a sweet mattress. And I'm so glad we did that, because the mattress that comes with it, unfortunately, really isn't a mattress. It's a pad. It's something that if you go to jail, that's what you're sleeping on.
Yeah, that's not for a full-time RVing for sure.
I mean, it's terrible. So, you know, unfortunately, manufacturers probably realize that when somebody's looking at an RV, the mattress is hidden under the comforter and people don't see it. So it's kind of one of those things that's out of sight, out of mind. So you gotta upgrade the mattress if you're gonna live in this thing. Next thing is the generator exhaust pipe. It comes out in the front of our rig right below where our freshwater hose hangs. So it literally touches the generator pipe. So, you know, I have to like kind of put tension on the freshwater hose so that it doesn't touch the pipe, because it will make contact and burn it. So kind of poor engineering there. Next on the list.
The AC is very loud. Yeah, and you keep it very cold too. Yeah, it's very loud, so it's hard to work sometimes, especially when Sean is making videos.
What? I can't hear you. No, the AC's too loud.
The sound for the videos, like it becomes an issue. So when we sleep, that doesn't bother me, but I know it bothers you a little bit because it's loud at times.
Well, you know, we have 3 ACs, and so what we've been doing lately is we'll have 2 of them on, the one in the garage and one in the bedroom if I'm working in this area, so that the AC isn't blowing right in this immediate area, so I can make videos. When we're sleeping, it's loud, and the noise doesn't bother me, but it's the constant turning on and off. So we used to sleep it with the fan on low, and with it on low, it's not too loud and it stays on. But I do prefer having it on in the other room, and we still get some, you know, air circulation through the vents coming into the bedroom. But yeah, it'd be nice if they were a little bit quieter, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's only a problem if you're in like hot weather, like we are. If we're in using them, that wouldn't really be a problem.
Yeah, we didn't have to use them until we got down to Florida. So
right.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyways, the next is, you know, surround sound. The speakers are terrible. They weren't even mounted, actually, and we'll do another video if you guys would like on all the issues that we've had with our RV. If that's something that you want us to talk about, let us know. Leave a comment below, because, you know, that's a whole nother video that we don't want to take up time doing it in this one. But the surround sound speakers, they only work through the Blu-ray player, which is really stupid, because I mean, I've never even played a Blu-ray disc in my life, so ridiculous. It's kind of, you know, it's wired that way or set up that way, and things are very hard to access with the way they're mounted. So anyways, I've just kind of let that one go and not put any effort into changing that. Next thing.
The bunk bed ladder. Geez, that's a huge problem for Sean, because that's where we keep our merchandise, and we constantly have to get it out of there and back in, and the ladder is so tiny. It's made for kids. So
yeah. not just that, but it's very hard on your feet. You cannot climb it barefoot without really hurting your feet. So that's kind of weird design, the way they did that. And the bunk itself is really, it's just made for kids. I mean, there's no way, I mean, climbing in and out of that bunk is dangerous for somebody of normal size, never mind a 220-pound guy. So the bunk is, you know, for a kid or for storage.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next thing is wallpaper. We love the look of our rig, the wallpaper, the color palette. It's very beautiful, nice. But wallpaper everywhere, it doesn't allow us to use command strips everywhere. In most places we're okay, but if you can't use heavy duty ones because it pulls the paper off the wall and will eventually fail. And if we have them in our second bathroom here and they failed immediately because it's hot in that room, there's no AC vent in that bathroom, which is another kind of weird and negative thing, because in the garage it's not as well insulated and it heats up, and it just peeled the wallpaper right off with those command strips.
And since you mentioned the bathroom, I know it's another dislike. The second bath, we only have a toilet in there, and the room that's in it, it's very small. Like, I have really long legs and I can barely fit in there. It's not like I'm a big person, but it's very tricky to get in there, so you gotta get creative.
Yeah, the bathroom, again, just like the bunk, it's really made for a kid, because I cannot get in there without leaving the door open, and even then it's really awkward. So honestly, I would, like to see either a bigger bathroom that's actually functional, or I'd rather just get rid of it. We use it for storage, so I'm even thinking about putting in some shelves that can be, removed easily if I need to, so that if we do have guests, they can still use it.
Correct.
But we just pile stuff on top of each other in there, and since we can't use the command hooks, it's just kind of piled right now. So the bathroom, kind of a big waste.
Yeah.
On that subject is the holding tanks. We have 2 black water, 2 gray water. Each tank is 41 gallons. Now, the way that it's set up is, it just doesn't work for us. It may work okay if somebody was using the garage as a bedroom and somebody was using that toilet and sink all the time, but it still doesn't make sense, because the shower in our bathroom sink and the kitchen sink are all tied into one gray water tank, and then the rear gray water tank is just the one sink that nobody ever uses. So you've got a shower and a kitchen sink and the kitchen bathroom all tied into one tank, so that gray water fills up very quickly, whereas the other one will never fill up if you're not using that as a bathroom. And even then, I mean, it's just hand water. So the tank system, the way they split it up, definitely not the best for us, and I wish it was just one big tank. I think because of legal reasons, maybe. That's what I've heard anyways. If you guys know the answer to that, we'd love to know. But, I mean, one big tank, one black and one gray would be way better than having them split up. The next thing...
The shower curtain?
Shower head.
Shower head. That, to me, is not a big deal, but I know for you...
The shower head is mounted, like, 6 inches off center, so it's not centered, and you have to shoot the water at an angle. It's a tight bathroom as it is, and you have to shoot the water at an angle, and if you have low pressure, the water is not making it to the middle of the tub. So it's a stupid design. Like, I don't understand why they can't center it. What is the purpose of that? It does not make any sense to me. Doesn't look like there's anything behind it, why they wouldn't be able to move it over, but really, really poor engineering there. So I dislike the shower head.
And the shower curtain too. Like, we had to take care of that the other day because the shower curtain was way too long, so it was sitting on the floor. So all of water that was on the floor was like just sitting on top of the curtain, and the curtain started getting mold. And mold is very, very toxic. So the other day, what we had to do is, like, we cut out like 6 inches off the curtain, and now we have no problem.
Yeah, I mean, manufacturers, if you're listening, like, if you're gonna build an RV, put an RV specific shower curtain. Like, don't go to the local store and buy a shower curtain for a house. I mean, it just. Little things like that, I mean, just really the corners are cut. So, we made it, the adjustments. Yes. Not a huge deal, but, little things like that, I mean, go a long way to the overall package. Mm-hmm. In the bathroom, it doesn't come with a toilet paper holder, which is kind of weird. I mean, I don't know. I mean, tell me your thoughts. I mean, if you buy a house, don't you think you should have a toilet paper holder?
Why?
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll move on. But in the comments below, should you have a toilet paper holder, yes or no?
What else?
The bedroom door and the bathroom door, they hit each other.
Yeah.
You can't have them both open at the same time, and there becomes quite a traffic jam in there, even with two people. So I wish there was pocket doors.
Yeah.
That would make life so much easier. And not to mention, you can access our bathroom from the kitchen area or from the actual bedroom. There's a pocket door from the bedroom into the bathroom, but that doorway is even narrow, so I have to kind of go in it at an angle. So not the best situation. It's not the worst, but it definitely would be nice to see some sort of pocket door. Next on the list,
switches, right?
Switches.
Labeling, more likely, because...
Yes, both. I mean,
yeah.
So all the switches, a lot of the switches are in our main control panel, okay, which is right across from the refrigerator in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not all placed in... They're just not placed in like a logical order, and they're not labeled. So I put some labels. I made some labels like the first week we moved in, and just thinking they were a temporary thing. They're real messy. I just wrote on some paper, sticky paper, and put it up there. But it's just difficult to know what switch does what. Because none of the switches are labeled. Just a few of them are. There's like 4, and they're just not logically placed.
Correct.
And so it makes life a little bit more challenging when you're always trying to figure out what each switch does. And that's the same thing for the bed in the garage. It doesn't say what's up, what's down. The same thing goes for our sewage valves. Don't know, we have 4 valves, and there's 2 in the front, 2 in the back, but they weren't labeled, and so you gotta like trial and error, and none of this stuff you can really find in the manuals, or there is no real manual. So a lot of it is and from what I understand is it's different from rig to rig. I mean, it really depends on who's working at the factory that day. So I just wish there was more I guess
attention to detail, and just being, I can't even think of the word right now, more consistent with the builds. So that's all. But switches and valves, really challenging. I mean, the same thing with the awnings too. I mean, they're totally backwards from what you would think. I mean, to do the front awning, you hit the back switch, and to do an awning that's over the middle of our rig, you got to go to the garage. I mean, it's just really, really weird how they wired these things. Right. I mean, even if they were accurately placed, at least if they were labeled, I don't think...
Yeah, exactly.
It will be a big deal, but... but knowing what a switch is for...
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yep. Next is awnings are very difficult to adjust because they are, 12 feet up in the air. So on each side of the awning, there's a way to adjust them. And you have to get up on a ladder to be able to reach that. So kind of a pain, because if you want to adjust your awnings, with the sun or weather conditions, you can't really do that. Next is the garage. We have these D-ring hooks.
Yes.
Which, they tell you are rated for crazy amounts of weight, can put a car in there, whatever. I just recently, hooked up. We had a motorcycle, a Vespa, 2 mountain bikes, paddle boards, everything in the garage, and the D-rings aren't really placed well. And so that's one thing. I wish there was an E-track system. I mean, if you're going to have a toy hauler, you really need a good way to tie things down, and just having the D-rings that they supply you with isn't adequate enough, and they aren't anchored down as well as I thought they were. I mean, so I'll show you guys that in a future video, but I had to just install a couple more D-rings for a system that I got for the motorcycle, Vespa, and mountain bikes. So we'll talk about that in the future. But if you're using it as a toy hauler, you know, really check how much weight those D-rings can handle, because they weren't mounted as well as I thought they would be.
And I think one thing we missed, and this is actually important to me, the not having an option for a dinette. So we have this 5 rows sitting, which is awesome. It's comfortable, but we will prefer to have a dinette.
Yeah, I mean, that when we were looking at this floor plan, we were really looking for a floor plan that had a dinette, but you couldn't get the side patio with a dinette. So, you know, that was a sacrifice we made. Now, the camera is sitting right now on a table that has 2 poles that, you know, we have pole tables, and Caro has her little area set up with the pole tables. Now, where I sit and work, if I were to do that, I'd be blocking the walkway. So, and you can't recline the chairs. So, you know, the way it's set up with the pole tables, it's okay, but to constantly put the tables in and out for us is too much of a pain. So we got rid of the other pole tables. They have them for the garage as well. We just don't use them. So I would like to put a dinette where we're sitting.
Correct.
And get rid of ideally only 2 of the seats, if we could do that. So we've got to, you know, hit up IKEA, or if you guys have a solution, we love to hear any, you know, comments you guys have. But we'd like to put in a dinette where we're sitting. It would just be a small one, but we'd be able to eat here and work here. It'd be more like an office space as well. So it's, I think I measured it, it's about 5 feet that we have lengthwise, and then the width is about, I think we could probably get away with, we got to keep it on the slide, or have something that expands, which would be really cool when we're using it, kind of pulls out or slides out like the table, and then you can slide it back in. So I think we have about 3.5 feet or maybe 4 feet width-wise. So if you guys have any suggestions, we would love to know. Yeah, hit it up. And finally, on the list we have our patios. When it rains, and we didn't get a lot of rain until we got down into Florida in the rainy season here, but when it rains, the water accumulates on the patios. There's nowhere for it to go. So that creates slime and sludge on the patios. It's also not good, I don't think, for it to just evaporate or find its way into the actual patio, which is the side of our rig when it's closed up. So that concerns me. I've heard people have had issues with the water seeping in there and delaminating their rig. So what I do in the rear patio, because we don't use that to sit out as much, is I leave one of the cables off that supports the patio, and it allows the water to drain off one side. So, but then if I want to put any weight on it, I got to go put that cable on. The side patio, we have the awnings out all the time, and it prevents the majority of the water from landing on it. So that's partially solved that problem. You know, so not the end of the world. We still absolutely love our rig. We wouldn't change the one that we're living in, the one that we purchased. This is the best for our lifestyle still. So after 8 months now of living in it, we still love it, still feel the same way. But there's obviously no perfect rig, and one day hopefully we could have this to the point where it is much better and more to our liking, but it's not going to kill us with the way it is.
Exactly.
So thanks again, guys, for joining us for another Real Talk. If you guys have any topics that you want us to cover, please leave them in the comments below, and we'll try to get to those. We love hearing your suggestions, your thoughts, and these videos are made for you. And we put a lot of time and energy into doing this, and we love it, but we take a lot of time from our regular work lives and just, you know, lives in general to do this. So if you guys have it and you're able to, you know, take a couple of minutes, hit up roadwarriorlife.us, get a cool t-shirt, a hat, decal, a sticker, shop on our Amazon link, and we get a small commission for doing that. Or join us on Patreon, where you can earn rewards and support our production. So thanks again. We really, really appreciate it, and we love doing this. And we'll hopefully see you guys out on the road.
Bye. Hi, you have some bubble.
Of course I do. Oh yeah?
Do you like this pearly white? I like your pearly whites, boy.
Okay, let's see. Just put it here. No. Put it on your knee, just...
On my knee?
Yeah.
How about if I will move?
You're not allowed to. Okay.
Good? Comfy?
Yep. You ready?
Okay, yes.